She's standing at the checkout. It's just after 8:30 at night, and that's when she feels it. You know, the feeling. That prickle on the back of your neck. That deep animalistic instinct that tells you someone's watching you. She tries to shake it off. It's just the bright lights at Target making her jumpy. It's nothing at all. She pays, grabs her one bag, and walks toward those big automatic doors. That's when she sees them. 3 spaces down from her car. A white, windowless van. There's a man in the driver's seat, and 2 others, leaning against the side, their face hidden in the shadow. They aren't talking. They aren't moving. They're just waiting. That feeling of being watched, it is one of the oldest fears we have. That internal alarm that tells you you've gone from being a person to being prey. Now, this story happened back in December of 2019. A 31-year-old mother who, like so many parents, just needed a little escape from the chaos of motherhood. Around 8:30 at night, she pulled into her local Target. You know, the happy place, a place that's supposed to feel safe. The parking lot was pretty empty, just a normal weekday night. Now, this woman wasn't paranoid, but she was aware. She'd actually taken seminars on human trafficking, she knew the red flags, she carried self-defense items. Just precautions. Good habits. She parks right up front, notes the cars around her. Again, just habits. And nothing seems out of the ordinary at all. So she thought she was walking in for another mundane, peaceful shopping trip. She was wrong. Inside, that familiar Target glow washes over her. The gentle music, the clean, organized aisles. She grabs a cart, or maybe she's just wondering at first, unwinding. She's only been in there about 10, maybe 15 minutes when she notices him. A young man, mid-20s, tall and thin. He's wearing a dirty gray sweatsuit, top and bottom matching, and a pair of brown work boots. His eyes, she said, looked vacant, maybe high on something. She does that polite little smile, maybe a small hello, and he just stares back, blank-faced, and then moves on. Now, seeing somebody who looks a bit rough isn't necessarily alarming, right? Especially late at night. But a couple of things register in the back of her mind. He was just wandering. No cart, no basket. His hands were jammed in his pockets, and he wasn't really looking at anything. He was just present. She shrugs it off, keeps shopping, moves to the next apartment, and a few minutes pass. Then she sees another man. Similar build, similar age, and he is wearing the exact same dirty gray sweatsuit and work boots. And again, no cart, no basket. This one glances at her. But the second he sees her looking, his eyes dart away. Fast. Okay, that's weird. 2 guys dressed identically, looking disheveled, wandering aimlessly and separately in a Target. Her internal alert level ticks up a notch, but still, she tries to rationalize it. Maybe they work together. Grabbing something quick after a shift? Why not? She keeps browsing. Another 15 minutes drift by. She's trying to focus on her list, trying to shake off that unease, and that's when the third man appears. Older this time, but dressed in the same gray sweatsuit. The same style of work boots, hands in his pockets, no merchandise. The rationalizations start to crumble. Construction workers in uniform? Maybe, but why weren't they together? Why are they scattered on aimless paths? And why did she have this growing, sinking feeling that their paths weren't so aimless after all? A heavy, dark feeling settled over her. Over the next 20 minutes, that creepy feeling solidifies into a chilling certainty that this wasn't random. It felt like surveillance. Every time she moved into a new section, a new department, she'd wait. And sure enough, within minutes, one of the three men would appear. They wouldn't stop, they wouldn't browse, they'd just pass by. Sometimes down the main aisle, sometimes cutting through a side aisle she just so happened to be near. Their presence became this predictable, unnerving rhythm. She's trying to stay calm, fighting that urge to panic, telling herself, "You're overthinking this. You're being paranoid." But her gut was just screaming. It felt dark, it felt heavy, it felt predatory. She decided, okay, I have to know for sure. I'm going to test this. So she abandons any pretense of actually shopping and starts darting down random aisles. She goes from a food aisle, cuts straight across to electronics, doubles back to the pharmacy, a path that makes absolutely no logical sense. And if they were just random shoppers, their paths shouldn't keep intersecting with hers, but they did. With this unnerving regularity, every time she popped into a new random aisle, she'd wait a few moments, and one of them would appear. Sometimes walking past an end cap, sometimes strolling down the aisle itself. And the looks they gave her, they weren't blank anymore. They were direct, stares that lingered as they passed. They weren't even trying to be subtle now, and that was terrifying. She said it felt like being hunted, surrounded. She's gripping her shopping cart handle, her knuckles white, already imagining using it as a shield, a ram, anything to create distance if they decide to close in. Imagine that. You're in a Target, a place built to make you feel comfortable with bright lights and familiar brands, and in the span of an hour, it becomes a hunting ground. You are a target in a Target. You are prey. Every instinct is firing, telling you to run, to get out, but where do you go? The store suddenly feels vast and empty and isolated. It just amplifies the fear when you're in there. She's been in the store for over an hour now. The initial peaceful reason for her trip was long gone, replaced by just a primal need to get somewhere safe. As she's scanning her surroundings, her protective instincts flare up for a whole different reason. She sees two young girls, preteens most likely, wandering alone, and she watches as the men pass near them, giving them that same unnerving attention, like they're prey. And the girls, of course, they are completely unaware of their surroundings. Her heart is pounding, and she quickly and quietly approaches the girls. She's careful not to scare them and urges them to go find their parents and stick close. Then she thinks, what if my own children were here? That thought was unbearable. Thank God they were at home. That was it. Enough was enough. She abandoned the rest of her shopping and made a direct line for the checkout lanes. But the ordeal, it wasn't over. As she neared the front of the store, she heard them. Footsteps, quickening behind her. She stops dead, turns around. It's one of them, walking fast now, closing the distance. She locks eyes with him, and he gave her a look. She said she'll never forget the darkness in his eyes. A slow, eerie smirk spread across his face, and he doesn't stop. He continues to walk and deliberately shoulder checks her as he walks by, hard, maintaining that chilling eye contact the entire time. And then he starts walking backward out of the store entrance, holding her gaze with that sinister smirk still plastered on his face until he finally disappeared from view. Her stomach just plummeted. Her body started to shake, completely uncontrollable. It was that raw primal fear, like being a lost child again. Where were the other two? And that uncertainty was just gnawing at her as well. His message, although he never said a word, was crystal clear. We see you. We can touch you. She rushes to the nearest open checkout, leans in, keeping her voice low, and asks the cashier to call a manager immediately. When the manager arrives, she quickly and quietly explains everything that just happened over the last hour. The matching men, being followed, and the final chilling encounter at the door. She then describes what the men look like, and the manager's face, it just falls. Recognition dawns. Yes, the manager knew exactly who she was talking about because other female employees had reported feeling deeply unsettled by these same men before. And the manager took it seriously, reassured her, promised to alert security and the authorities, and even arranged for a male employee to escort her to her car. A wave of relief washed over her, mixed with that lingering adrenaline. At least somebody believed her. The young employee walks her to the exit. She takes a deep breath, trying to get herself composed. But as those automatic doors hiss open and they step out into the cold night air, the final horrifying piece of this puzzle clicks into place. There in the parking lot, parked just a few spaces behind her own car, sat a white, windowless van. The driver's side door was open, and one of the men, one of the gray sweatsuit figures, was climbing in. The other two were pressed up against the side of the van, facing her car, trying to stay hidden in the shadows. It was almost laughably cliche if it wasn't so terrifying, like something out of a bad movie, but this was real. Lady snatchers, she thought to herself, the absurdity hitting her even through the fear. There they are, she exclaimed, pointing them out to the employee, and the reaction was immediate. Once the men got pointed out, they scrambled into the van, slammed the door, and the vehicle peeled out of the parking lot, tires squealing, and disappeared into the night. She never knew their exact intentions. Maybe it was human trafficking, maybe it was robbery, maybe something worse. But their coordination, the identical clothing, the relentless stalking, and the windowless van waiting right by her car, none of it pointed to anything good. She drove home that night, shaken but safe, replaying every single moment, thinking every instinct that told her something was wrong. In the following weeks, she heard news reports. Several abduction attempts in the shopping center right next to that exact target. She couldn't be sure, but she had a sickening feeling about them. Her story, though, is a chilling reminder. Trust your gut, be aware of your surroundings even in places that feel the most familiar, and never hesitate to ask for help if something feels wrong. It might just save your life. To those three men out there in matching gray sweatsuits, let's hope nobody ever meets you again. It's terrifying how quickly a place of comfort, like your neighborhood Target, can turn into a landscape of fear when the wrong elements align. Situational awareness, trusting your inner voice, these aren't just phrases, they're survival tools, especially when you realize how the ordinary can become extraordinary or other. But sometimes the danger isn't stalking you through the brightly lit aisles of a superstore. Sometimes the danger is waiting for you in the one place you feel the most exposed. The one place you can't escape fast enough. The parking lot. "This is a stick-up. Give me all your money." The woman freezes. She's 9 months pregnant. Her 2 young daughters are standing right there. The parking lot is completely, utterly deserted. It's 10 o'clock at night. The man just laughs. "Just kidding." But he doesn't stop walking. He walks right past her, goes around the back of the car, and stands right next to her 7-year-old. And the woman? She can't find her keys. This story comes from a woman who, 5 years ago, was just trying to get her Christmas shopping done. She was 9 months pregnant and just about ready to pop. She had her 2 daughters with her, a 15-year-old and a 7-year-old. They were at a mall in what she describes as a very safe city, low crime, and the kind of place where you just don't think twice about stuff. They had been shopping late and the stores were starting to close, so they decided to grab a late dinner at the Applebee's that was connected to the mall. By the time they finished, it was 10 p.m., and the mall was dark. They walked out of the restaurant entrance into that big, quiet ocean of asphalt. The parking lot was practically empty, just a few scattered cars under those buzzing orange lights. She gets to the car. Her daughters, again 7 and 15, are standing on the passenger side, waiting for her to unlock it. She's on the driver's side, balancing shopping bags on her arms and digging in a giant purse for the keys. And that's when she sees him. A man. Maybe 50-ish, crusty looking, shaggy gray hair, a faded flannel shirt, and he's walking right at them, briskly. He gets about 40 feet away, and he says it. "This is a stick-up. Give me all your money." And the mom, she just froze. Her blood ran cold, and she managed to stammer, "What?" The man laughs. "Just kidding," he says. But he doesn't stop walking. He walks right past her, goes around the back of the car, and stands right next to her daughters. He's just there. Standing on the other side of the car, right beside her 7-year-old, his hands are stuffed deep in his pockets. And he just starts talking. He starts making small talk, asking the girls if they were being good for Santa, how old they were, if they got their Christmas shopping done. And the mom, she's stuck. She's a heavily pregnant woman, alone with her 2 daughters, and this man just joked about robbing them. And now he's standing inches away from her children, but he's acting friendly. Now, she says that he didn't seem drunk or high. He seemed perfectly coherent. He seemed normal. So she does what most of us would probably do. She tries to de-escalate the situation. She plays along, she laughs politely, all while her hand is shaking and digging frantically inside that purse for her car keys. She can't find them. And the man, he just keeps talking. And he keeps asking questions. And he keeps looking over his shoulder, back into the dark, empty parking lot. This goes on for a few minutes, the 15-year-old glancing at her mom, clearly weirded out, trying to gauge the situation. But the 7-year-old, she's completely oblivious to the danger. In her mind, she's with mommy, so she's safe. This man is just being friendly. So she starts talking back to him. She starts enthusiastically telling him what she picked out for daddy for Christmas. She asks him if he knows what Minecraft is, and the mom is just screaming inside. Stop talking to him. Stop keeping him here. But she can't say that. She just keeps digging for her keys. And then the dread hits. Real dread. She cannot find them. They are not in her purse. The thought flashes through her mind, I've lost them at the mall. We're stuck. We are stuck in this deserted parking lot with this strange man, and he keeps looking over his shoulders and he won't leave. She said that she felt at any moment he was going to pull a knife or a gun, and all he had to do was grab her 7-year-old and it would all be over in a second. Her adrenaline spikes. She was about to either fight or scream. Now, we often talk about gut feelings, about a little voice in the back of our head that tells you that something's deeply wrong. But what do you do when that voice is screaming, but that person standing in front of you is just smiling? What do you do when the danger is polite? The mom is bracing herself. She's accepted that something terrible is about to happen, and then just like that, the man says, "Okay, it was nice talking with you. See you later." And he just walks off. He walks back into the same direction he came from, disappearing into the darkness. She stood there, stunned for a second. It wasn't until he was gone that her fingers finally closed around the keys. She hit the button, the car beeped, and she yelled at the kids to get in, fast. She threw the bags in, slammed the car door, locked it, and started to drive out that parking lot as fast as she could. In the car, her 15-year-old lightheartedly said, "Okay, that was weird," and laughed. The mom, she was just overwhelmed with relief. She joked about it too, what a creep, but nothing bad happened. So, it was fine, right? She gets home and she greets her husband, and she and her daughters tell him the story, still half joking about how weird and creepy the guy was. She jokes about how she was mentally having a panic attack trying to look calm while fumbling for her keys, but the husband, he doesn't laugh. He goes completely white. Now her husband, he went through the police academy. His father is a retired sheriff's deputy, so he knows things. He knows tactics. He looked at his wife absolutely horrified, and he told her exactly what just happened. He wasn't chit-chatting. He was waiting. He told her that that man was 100% waiting for one sound, the beep beep of a car unlocking. The reason he was staying next to the kids, because the second the door unlocked, the 7-year-old pulled the handle, he was going to force himself into the car with them. He'd hold a knife or a gun to the daughter, and then you're in the car, he's in the car, your kids are in the car. You'll do anything. You'll drive anywhere. And the fact he wasn't wearing a mask suggested he had no intention of leaving any witnesses behind. Now the mom remembered he was standing right by the back passenger door, right where her 7-year-old was waiting to get in. So her husband told her the only reason the guy left was because it was taking so long. She couldn't find her keys. And the longer it took, the more anxious he got, the more spooked. He kept looking over his shoulders, not for his friends, but for witnesses, for another car, for security. And that whole time, she was desperate to find her keys. And the one thing that saved her, the one thing that saved her children from being abducted or worse, was that by some divine intervention, her keys stay hidden. A predator doesn't always look like a monster. Sometimes he looks like a friendly man in a parking lot, waiting for you to unlock a door. But what happens when that predator isn't just one man? What if it's two? And what happens when you're not in a deserted lot, but under the bright lights of a 24-hour supermarket? He leaned in close. So close that she could smell him. And he smelled like shit. "I see how it is," he said. "You think you're too good for us. We can show you that you aren't. We can teach you a lesson." She was in a 24-hour grocery store, and she was sliding a 4-inch pocket knife up her jacket sleeve. She looked at the store employee just a few feet away. Her eyes were wide, trying to scream, "Help me," without making a sound. Because she knew she wasn't walking out of that store alone. If you've made it this far, make sure you drop a like and subscribe. If you enjoy videos like this, I promise there's more to come. Now let's get back to the story. Now this happened to a woman we'll call Jenna about 4 years ago. She was 25 and working as a bartender. It was a busy Friday night. The dinner rush had just cleared out, and the bar manager noticed that they were running dangerously low on, well, everything. Lemons, limes, bitters, the essentials for a bar. She asked her to do a quick supply run. Just down the road, go to the 24-hour grocery store. Pretty simple, right? Get in, get out, get back to work. Jenna goes to the store. It's late, but it's not empty. She grabs the fruit, the bitters, everything's fine. Until she gets to the liquor aisle. She sees 2 guys, about her age, country looking, and they're staring at her, whispering. That feeling, every woman knows it. You're being watched. You're being discussed. She said at first she tried to brush it off. All pretty innocent so far, she thought. She'd been on stage her entire shift being charming and polite to customers, and she just wanted to get the supplies and go. She grabbed what she needed fast and power walked to the self-checkout. But when she got to the self-checkout, so did they. They were hot on her tail. They took to the scanning station right next to hers. Now she gets a better look at them. They look dirty. Their eyes were completely bloodshot. And they just stand there, staring at her. Their own items just sitting on the scale, unscanned. So Jenna does that thing. That quick, polite, "I'm not interested, please don't hurt me" smile. The closed-lip Midwestern smile. You should know the vibe. That doesn't work. The taller one leans in. "Hey, looks like you're ready to party, huh?" She gives a short answer, trying to shut it down. Something like that. "It's not for me." But they walk closer. Now they're completely ignoring their own self-checkout machine. "Oh, must be for your boyfriend, huh?" She flashes that tight-lipped smile again, rolls her eyes, just a little hint, "Leave me alone." But they don't take the hint. The tall one keeps pushing. "You could come hang out with us tonight. We could show you a real good time, if you know what I mean." She's firm now. "No thanks, I'm good. Already have plans." And this is where it changes. The man's face darkens. His moves aren't working, and he gets upset. His tone becomes threatening. He moves very close. Jenna said he was 2 inches from her, but she refused to look at him. She just kept her eyes on the scanner, but he smelled bad, like he hadn't showered in days. So he gets louder. "I see how it is. You probably only fuck doctors and rich men. You think you're too good for us, whore?" And then he says it. "We can show you that you aren't. We can teach you a fucking lesson." What do? Right then. You're cornered. There's a self-checkout attendant, a woman standing at a podium, but she's busy or trying to distract herself. She's not paying attention. Or is she? Jenna, still not looking at the men, turns her body, She blocks their view of her purse and pretends to be looking for a wallet, but she's not. She's grabbing her 4-inch pocket knife. She slides it up her jacket sleeve ready, and when she does it, she looks at the worker. Eyes wide, a silent scream. "Help me." The worker sees her, and immediately, Jenna's machine starts beeping. Loudly. Error messages flash. The worker is walking over, and the two men completely change their demeanor. They go from, "We're planning on wearing your skin," to, "Howdy, ma'am, just a couple of good old country boys." They even try to joke with the worker. "She's probably stealing something, that's why it went off." But the worker wasn't buying it. This worker was muscular, over 6 feet tall, not somebody you'd mess with even on your best day. The worker shoots the guy a look, zero charm, totally unimpressed. He taps the screen and cancels the entire order. He turns to Jenna, puts a hand on her back and says, "I'm so sorry, ma'am. This machine isn't working. Why don't you grab your things and I'll ring you up on an actual register?" As he guides her away, he gives Jenna that same wide-eyed look. "I see you. You're safe." He walks Jenna to a register near the security office, and the two guys just linger by the self-scan, glaring at her. Eventually, they complete their purchases, and they go stand by the exit. They're waiting. Jenna said she felt like she'd be walking to her death if she left right then. The worker sees him. He's scanning Jenna's items, but he's slow. He keeps pressing buttons on the screen. "Having trouble on this register too," he says, loud enough for them to hear. He's stalling. He leans in and tells Jenna, "There was nothing wrong with that machine. I saw them getting aggressive. I've already called security to be ready to walk you out, and then I saw you take that knife out. Good girl." Jenna is thanking him over and over. Her bar manager calls. "What's taking so long?" She explains, and he's furious and ready to drive over there himself. By the time she hangs up, the two men have finally given up. They walk out of the store. The workers tell her to wait. Give it a few more minutes. I have a feeling they're waiting in the parking lot. They want to see what car is yours so they can follow you. Jenna's first thought was, no way, they're gone. She was wrong. After a few minutes, the worker and the security guard escort her out into the night. The parking lot is empty, except for one truck. A big, beat-up pickup, parked all the way in the back, running, with its lights on, pointing right at the store door. Jenna said it was like being stalked by very hungry lions. The three of them, Jenna, the worker, the guard, they stood on the sidewalk, staring at the truck. The guys in the truck realized they'd been made. They knew she wasn't coming out alone, so they peeled out. Did a full-on burnout, tires smoking, just to show how pissed off they were. Jenna was certain that that worker saved her life, or at least saved her from whatever lesson these rednecks playing the teacher. Jenna wrote a letter to corporate, hoping that guy got a raise. He deserved it. Now this is just a reminder that heroes don't wear capes. Sometimes they wear supermarket vests. But this story and this whole video is also a reminder that the world is full of people waiting for you to be alone, waiting for you to be vulnerable. But no matter what happens, sometimes the predator isn't a stranger. Sometimes they're not in a parking lot or a grocery store. Sometimes they're your own family. And in the next episode of The Other Side, we're going to dive into that. Again, if you've stayed this long, please make sure you like, favorite, subscribe, hype the video. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I love you all. Goodbye.